Hello, welcome to another talk on money, business, and investing. My name is Jose. I'm the founder of the company and brand here at Master Investor. Ensure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so that you know when we go live or upload a valuable talk like today's that can literally change our finances forever, as long as we apply the information that we're learning from our content here at Master Investor. Check out the links in the description. We have tools, resources, ebooks, digital courses to ultimately help us build true wealth. Give us the power back to us to make sure that we're managing our money instead of giving our money away to any broker or any other third party that would do whatever they do with it instead of us, actually doing it. So in order to become wealthy, we have to actively invest. We cannot give our money to anyone to invest it for us because we don't learn anything from that transaction. And it takes the power away from us, control, and everything else goes out the door because we lose leverage. We lose everything that a master investor should have. So today we have a great topic. It's going to be on the characteristics of a wealthy investor. Master these characteristics to become successful in business and investing, take charge of our financial destiny, and cease depending on brokers to handle our investments. Our mission here at Master Investor is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity through high-quality financial education. Made simple, we look at opportunities to build passive income and true wealth. Summary of today's talk is going to be 3 main points. If we put ourselves out of our own way, we can develop the traits of a wealthy entrepreneur and investor. Accept failure as necessary part of the path, but learn from the failures. And the third thing is breaking certain habits to become an entrepreneur is a worldwide endeavor because it will lead to financial freedom and true wealth. It is not like everyone else is an entrepreneur. There are individuals who choose the less traveled path because they are motivated by something deep inside of them. Our culture is deeply ingrained with the belief that attending college will only enable one to live paycheck to paycheck for the next 40 or more years while employed by a corporate, because it is the conventional route most people do it. It was their parents' actions. It is secure. However, business owners are aware that it is not truly secure. To begin with, higher education is a fraud. Financial intelligence is not something that is taught in school. And remember, 3 types of education: academic education, professional education, and financial education. We refer as higher education as being professional education, going to college, right? Some people go to college thinking that that's how they build wealth, and it's not how we build wealth. How we build wealth is by acquiring assets that produce passive income, and those assets need to be controlled with our companies that we control 100%. We launch those companies, and those companies will hold those assets, will own those assets, and we are assuming that because we are following the new rules of money and everything that we're sharing within our community here at Master Investor, we are building brands, not just companies, not just commodities that can be replaced. We're building true brands. And that means we have to have intrinsic value and business integrity within our organization. We have to protect our logo, we have to trademark it, we have to do patents, we need to do intellectual property. All of these legalities need to be in place in order for a business to have intrinsic value. And then business integrity needs to cash flow. If it doesn't cash flow, then it's not an asset, right? It's not a true asset. So it needs to be putting money into our pocket on autopilot because it has systems working for us, doing the selling and telling. Sales systems, right? The sales funnels, advertisement, and communication systems. There are 8 integrities that we must establish in a successful business, okay? And those integrities are mission, team, leadership, cash flow, communications, systems, legal, and product. So it's not just a product that we need to focus on when we're building our brand. We need to focus on the product, but also on the other integrities. They all need to be aligned with each other. And if we observe any successful business out there, any big company that we know today, we can see this A integrity is very well established in those businesses. So pay attention. We learn a lot from other people's success, believe it or not. Nowadays, we can tap into the internet very fast. We all have a smart device, majority of people do, and we can have access to the internet, and therefore we have access to any type of information that we wish to have. We're living in the best times because everyone has access to the information, and also it creates opportunities for everyone to become wealthy faster, because now we can sell worldwide faster than ever before. We can have 1,000, 100,000 sales, 1 million sales in one shot, right? Because people don't have to wait online to purchase from our digital stores. They can all purchase at the same time. They only teach us how to be a good employee in schools because they are created for that. Schools have a mission in it. And if we look on 1902, 1903, John D. Rockefeller established the General School Board and basically instilled that the school systems should create employees and soldiers, and that all school systems should remove any financial education in it. So they're not teaching people how to become a business owner and a wealthy entrepreneur or investor. They're not teaching us how to do that at school. Okay, they're teaching us how to become a great employee and a soldier. Some people get recruited very early on during high school. They even have a class in high school in the United States where they're basically molding people to get a feeling of what is it to be in the army, or whichever Air Force or whatever branch the individual wants to go into. But those are the two types of people the schools are meant to create, employees and soldiers. And a lot of people don't understand that, and so they feel good by going to school because that's what their parents did and that's what they expect from them, and so they follow that path. But we need to be able to learn the new things that actually work in today's economy. We need to be able to release the old habits and change within ourselves. Even the core values about money, we need to change. We need to adopt the wealthy context. People are operating with the poor context. Two types of mindset when it comes to money. We talk about it all the time in our community. The wealthy mindset and the poor mindset, right? And so what we have to do in order to adopt the wealthy mindset is apply the 3 E's of a master investor. Number 1, financial education. Number 2, financial experience. And number 3, we need to have excess of cash flow. We need to receive passive income. In order to call ourselves inside investors or master investor, we need to receive that money, okay, from our investments. So as the schools teach us how to become great employees and soldiers, which will allow us to follow the other sheep into an unfulfilling retirement for the next 40 years rather than teaching us how money works. Securing employment is an additional fraudulent activity. Working for someone else does not provide any financial stability because we are not in charge. Employees and self-employed people are always at the mercy of other people who have the power to downsize, demote, fire, or even assign them to roles they don't enjoy. However, for those who enjoy their work, we need great employees in our organizations. So we're talking about people that don't like to work where they work, okay? And they still do it because they haven't figured out a way out of that rat race. And if you do love your job, as I said many times before, and we talked about it yesterday too, because I cannot stress enough how important it is that we all learn how to invest. Even if you love your job and you're doing your passion as a job, you need to learn how to turn that income that you're making from that job to passive income and capital gains income through sound investing. So everyone needs to learn how to invest because that money is a game that we're going to play for the rest of our lives. So if we're better at the game of money, it's better for us. So let's master money, make money our slave. That's what we're doing here inside of our community. We're building our characteristics of a master investor, of a wealthy entrepreneur, right? We're becoming true leaders. We're learning how to communicate with our team, bring the best out of them. That's what a true leader does. We're not necessarily the best one in our team. In fact, if we're the best one in our team, then our team is in trouble. We need to change our teams quickly. We need to find smarter people than we are in our team, always. And remember, OQP, only quality people. Make sure that you give your time accordingly to the people that should receive that time, should be earning that time from us, okay? Our time is the most precious asset we all have. We shouldn't give it lightly to anyone. Not everyone deserves our energy. We need to protect our time at all times, and we need to say no a lot of times to protect a deeper jest of our dreams. We need to be unapologetically when it comes down to building our brands and businesses. This is something that we need to take serious, because when we're building our businesses, no one is going to wake up and tell us, hey, it's time to do it. We have to do that ourselves. We have to nurture that business like anything else grows, right? Like a plant, you need to nurture every day. We need to water that plant every day, and it grows. It grows eventually, the money tree, but it takes time, focus. However, today we can do it faster than ever due to technology, access to information, being able to sell worldwide, and all the systems plus the artificial intelligence that we have access today. I mean, it makes it easier than ever before. It's just a fact. If we look 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, we didn't have the type of technology that we're experiencing today. We're literally living on the edge of like the future, like the high-end future. We can all have access to tools that will allow us to create wealth and create the lifestyle that we always desire very quickly, okay? Because as long as we take action, we will have those results immediately. We can see results instantly. So if you want to have a dream in the next 5 years, right? Realize one of your dreams in the next 5 years, it's possible. We need to reverse engineer that, and we need to build the qualities of a wealthy entrepreneur in order for us to be able to cash flow successfully from businesses and do well at investing. We need to understand business. We need to go back to the basics. We need to treat financial education like we treat academic education and any other education. A lot of people don't pay attention to financial education. They think it's taboo, or not taboo, that's not the right word. They think is not proper to talk about money. That's what the middle class and the poor class teaches their kids and their families, not to talk about money. That is rude. Don't ask how much you make money, how much other people make money. That is not a question that shouldn't be talked about, and that is actually the very opposite. In order for us to become wealthy, we have to talk about how much money we make. We have to talk about how much money our investments are making. And since we're building businesses and we're going to be approaching lenders, investors, and private banks and so forth, we're going to be talking about money all the time. If we want to create $1 million in positive cash flow, we have to talk about money. We have to have wealthy friends around us. We have to invest in our networks. I keep telling everyone and recommending all of us to go out there and network and invest in our mentors. There are great people that are true mentors, okay? Master Investor is one of your mentors. It's one of our mentors, right? We come here, we talk about money, business, and investing. We go back to the basics and invest, but we still recommend everyone to go out there and search for more mentors so that we can expand our financial knowledge and we can learn from other people's success. So make sure that we have those people in our lines and we're investing in their products and their services. And that is the fastest way to become wealthy, is to invest in our financial education and of course self-development that comes with that. Qualities of being an investor, or the characteristics of being a wealthy investor. Thus, congrats if we are considering define the system and pursuing an entrepreneurial lifestyle. Being our own boss and setting our own hours has so many benefits. making the move and stepping outside of our comfort zone can be frightening. Do we think we have what it takes? We have worked with innumerable investors and business owners over the course of the years, and we have identified some traits of entrepreneurship that are typically associated with success. Let's compare our performance and adopt these traits as we grow our business empire. Number 1, courage. People will think we are insane and condemn them when they announce that they are leaving their job to launch their own business. This is partly because they don't understand the reasons, and let's be honest, mostly because they are jealous that they are finally bringing their dream to reality. Other people become jealous when we start pursuing our dreams and they see us moving in pure alignment with our purpose. A lot of people are stuck in the rat race and they can never figure a way out because they have made their own choices in life and now they're paying for those choices. So every choice matters. Pay attention to our choices, even the smallest choices that we have to make in our lives. It will need guts to follow our own path, even when others around us disagree or express their disapproval, because our struggles and accomplishments are unlike anybody else. Becoming an entrepreneur may be a lonely journey at times. However, when we succeed, the reward is total freedom and excess of passive income, which majority of people never get to experience. Number 2, perseverance. Every entrepreneur needs to possess the resilience to keep going forward in the face of setbacks. If not, we will give up the moment we encounter difficulties or make a humiliating error. Characteristic: strong people always grow stronger when faced with setbacks. We always learn something from a setback, and as long as we grab that lesson and we take it into our heart and we learn it, then that's when we earn the blessing. That's when wisdom says in. Okay, so we have to make sure that as we fail in our way to success, then we need to be learning constantly. Okay, we cannot sit there and repeat that error again, because then it's gonna delay our rewards. How? By taking what we have learned from the error and applying it into the next chance. Recall, failure is acceptable as long as we learn from the lessons. Number 3, honesty. An entrepreneur must always be truthful, behave honorably, and keep their word. If not for the sake of our own moral compass, then at least for the sake of our reputation. In this age of social media, consider everything we say and do to be public record. Anything can go viral in a matter of minutes. We will get the respect of our clients and co-workers and won't have to worry about a controversy if we run our company with honesty. 4, self-drive. Nobody's going to give us a mid-year assessment to let us know how we are doing or create a plan for the upcoming quarter when we are our own boss and we have our own companies. No one is tracking our sick days, micromanaging our task, or watching our clock in and out. Yes, we are responsible for our own actions. That is much easier if we are self-motivated, since we don't let the absence of structure negatively affect us, and we remain focused on the task at hand. Remember why our why is so crucial. If we struggle with motivation, we can all do from time to time. So in order to come out of that rabbit hole, if we feel like we need more motivation, is to remember our why. That's why choosing why we do what we do is very important. Like, why are we doing this, right? Are we doing it for who? Are we doing it for our family? Are we doing it for our name? The why needs to represent such an emotion pool that is going to be able to pull us out of any negativity, because that's bigger than anything else, emotionally bigger than anything else. So self-drive, very important when we build our businesses. We need to have self-drive. We need to have the ability to launch a business, nurture it when no one is doing it. Number 5, fervor or passion. Why are we working at something if we don't enjoy it? Being an entrepreneur means having a strong sense of passion for our company. After all, we deliberately designed and selected it. Furthermore, passion is incredibly contagious since it helps us sell our goods and services, build relationships with clients, and inspire people to invest in our ideas. And when people see us moving with our passions, they will listen to us because they know that we're more disciplined and we know more about the subject than they do. So when we build our businesses and launch our brands, we need to kind of pick the ones that are aligned with our passions, because we're going to do much better. If we like what we're doing and we're learning about building our businesses, then what better than to be involved in one of our passions, right? And then we can create a brand that will help in that industry, and it can go viral in the matter of minutes, like I mentioned earlier, because of technology. So we can go viral with one idea and become ultra wealthy very quickly, as long as we have these characteristics that we're talking about here today. 3 self-destructive habits that we should all avoid. These are the 5 entrepreneurship traits that will enable us to be successful in the business world. However, what about the other side? What about the actions that prevent us from moving forward? This is the ideal moment to begin considering the new routines and viewpoints we want to adopt for 2024. What are some habits in not only 2024 this year, but moving forward? If you're hearing this in a year, 10, 40 years from now, this is going to be relevant still. What are some habits we could start or quit that are getting in the way of our success? Many people say it starts in their own minds. To begin, consider this. Put an end to self-sabotage caused by our own ideas and behaviors. We cannot be our own worst enemy, okay? We have to be our best friend. We have to be the one that nurtures our minds. We need to talk good about ourselves every day. We need to provide love to us, self-love. And that means discipline. That means making the right choices. We restrict ourselves far too often, which keep us from achieving our goals. Whether our goal is to become financially independent, skydive, lose weight, launch a new brand, or make new friends, we can occasionally get in our own way, often without even realizing it. Controlling our thoughts every second and choosing the best feeling thoughts is the key. Then having control over our emotions will help us tremendously in our way to financial freedom and true wealth. Several methods are as follows. Number 1, residing in our comfort zone or our cozy surroundings, right? When we get too comfortable, we have to avoid getting too comfortable. In fact, we encourage everyone to be comfortable by being uncomfortable all the time, meaning that we're expanding and we're learning new things and we're putting ourselves in rooms that have smarter people than we are, wealthier people than we are. We're networking with ultra wealthy people, and they're making us uncomfortable because we are learning constantly something new, okay? And we have to make sure we provide as much value as possible. We have to be other people's asset as well. We need to, when we talk to them, we need to provide value to them as well, even to our mentors. If we ever have a time to speak to one of our mentors, make sure we nurture our relationship, because that's a great connection. Okay, some bridges we have to burn, but other bridges we should never burn, because business and investing is about networks. Building wealth is all about building networks. Our inner critic prefers to keep us contained and secure. This is perceived by our brains as self-preservation, as they wish to shield us from feeling exposed, committing an error, receiving criticism, or experiencing disappointment. What if they fail, or they aren't worthy, or that's too much work? Are some examples of what the critical inner voice might say. It is possible that they have become so accustomed to hearing that voice that they have begun to believe it. So the more we talk about ourselves, whether it's a negative or positive way, it begins to manifest, because we are attracting that idea into fruition. So we have to make sure that we are speaking only quality words into our being, because everything is energy. And so when we speak greatness into ourselves, then that's what we're going to get in return. Number 2, holding a poor opinion of oneself. Whether this stems from self-inflicted harm, a difficult childhood, a traumatic divorce, or a strict boss, we don't even stop to question our inner critic because we are so accustomed to it, because it is what we are used to. We become mirrored in patterns and build our entire existence around them. The barriers we erect to keep others out only serves to restrict our lives and our possibilities. Number 3, allowing fear to control us. We act out of fear, ego, or love in practically everything we do in life. The energy of fear is what makes us retreat, remain silent, and suffer in silence. Love is the force that heals, pushes, and frees us to be ourselves. We are frequently held back by our fears of the unknown, failure, rejection, and judgment. We won't know what is on the other side of that dread, though if we can overcome that same fear, we will never realize our potential. We must attack our fears and confront them. When we do, we find treasures, and our dreams are there too. The test of self-sabotage. Do any of these instances of classic self-sabotage seem familiar to us now? If yes, spend a few minutes practicing our creativity and overcoming preconceptions with this short exercise. Step 1, split a sheet of paper into 3 equal sections. Step 2, make a list of everything we should do if it were feasible and write it down in the first column. Step number 3, next, write the reason why each want is impossible next to it in the second column. Step 4, next, make a list of potential workarounds for these barriers in the third column. While we work, keep in mind that we don't have to restrict our solutions to things we can do on our own. Instead, consider how we can make the most of other people's talents. Step 5, check our list at this point. What ideas that we generate? Do any of these circumstances seem less impossible now? And when we do these types of exercise that we share here in our community, we will be surprised how much they help us, because when we write things down, we begin to manifest even faster. It becomes stronger. So when we have an idea, let's put it down on paper. We have a problem, let's put it down on paper, find the solutions around that problem. The more we read, the more self-development we do, the better leaders we become. So the better we can communicate, the better we can solve financial problems, because we have financial IQ. And we have financial experience. We actively invest in it. We are doing the real thing. And that's how we learn the best, is by actually doing the real thing. Character as strength is important. Recall that people are tougher than we realize. Don't let our comfort zone, negative self-criticism, or personal fear to hold us back. And don't ever let other people's opinions become our reality. If we listen to other people's opinions too much, then we become their prisoners. We need to listen to the feedback and take it as feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and then we come to our own conclusion and we make a decision and a choice based on facts and based on how we feel with our intuition. Let our intuition guide us as we build our business empire. It is possible to try something new and not succeed. However, we will only ever regret the things we never tried rather than the things we have done. Now that we are more aware of this tendency, listen out for situations in which other people remark something like, "That's impossible," or "If only they could," or "They are unable to because." Consider the following when we hear remarks of this nature. What could resolve this person's issue? How could a company be founded on helping individuals find a solution to this problem? We might come upon a fantastic business opportunity or idea that we can use to build riches and true wealth. It will, at the absolute least, train our mind to think like an entrepreneur. In the end, it doesn't matter how large our home is or how many expensive vehicles we have stored in the garage. All that is left when all those things are taken away is our strength of character, which is what makes us unique. We'll be able to achieve financial freedom if we remain loyal to ourselves and ethical. Understanding our personal financial statement. There are 6 basic and essential words that we must understand the relationship with one another in our personal financial statement. The following are the words that we should master today in our financial statement. Number 1, incomes. Number 2, expenses. Number 3, assets. Number 4, liabilities. Number 5, cash. Number 6, flow. And we focus on investing for passive income. We are making positive cash flow or passive income from controlling assets even when the economy is doing bad. We focus on diversifying among the 5 different asset classes that exist. So when we launch a business and that business makes us revenue and it gives us a surplus, meaning it gives us the bottom line, our positive cash flow or passive income, that is treated as a good expense. It's not treated as an asset, it's going to be treated as a good expense because we're going to put it into a new asset. We're going to invest that capital to acquire a cash flow and asset. We're going to recycle that money into our assets column again. And we're going to acquire a new cash flow and asset, giving us more excess of cash flow, making us more wealthy, and giving us more freedom. As we can see on the screen, if we're watching on our live stream right now, if you're listening to our podcast, make sure you go to our YouTube channel because we are sharing the screen there, and therefore you can see the diagrams and so forth. And also you have access to our newsletter. If you go to our website, it's free. You can have the articles be sent to you via email, and when we get them via email, we can just simply read it from there. We don't even need to go to the website. We can just get that article into our inbox, and if we don't have time to perhaps come to a live stream or listening to an amazing podcast like today's, then at least we'll have time to read the article, okay, and see the diagrams and so forth, which ultimately will help us build our wealth, okay? So as we can see, we have a financial statement that is simplified. We have the income statement, we have the income column, the expenses column, we have the assets column, we have the liabilities column. And as a master investor, we invest for passive income specifically. And of course, we're going to get capital gains income because some assets will only bring capital gains income, okay? As we can observe above and below, the diagrams showing us what a financial statement looks like in simplified manner. We all have a financial statement, and it tells us how smart we are when it comes to making money. The financial statement shows us how smart the financial IQ of the individual is. We can see how we manage our money daily. We can tell if we are successful business owners and inside investors. We can see if a person is an employee or self-employed, right? We can see which side of the cash flow circle the person is operating from by looking at their financial statement. And every business or investment has a financial statement. We should treat every investment as a business because ultimately every investment is a business. As we can see, this diagram has 8 words in total for true wealth. It's basically the same thing as the diagram above, except that we have the buying column, we have the credit column here, and we also show the net column. Remember that the goal is to focus on building and acquiring cash flow and assets. In other words, our attention should be put on the assets column primarily, which requires us investing in financial education and actively invest daily in assets that we have full control over them with our companies. We just gain financial experience by actively doing the real thing. This way, we avoid ever giving our money away to someone else to invest it for us. The only reason why people will give their capital to brokers and other financial experts is because they themselves do not have financial education. And therefore, fear kicks in for them and takes control over their emotions and making them paralyzed at investing. they fear investing, so they give their money away. They'd rather not deal with it. Most of the brokers and experts are not necessarily wealthy, as many of them do not have any assets, and all they have are their sales jobs. As brokers make money through commissions by having financial uneducated people's money stuck in fake assets like 401ks, mutual funds, IRA, ETFs, and others alike. Fake assets that were created to serve the financial uneducated. The way we start is by taking action. When we gain financial education daily, we can definitely prepare for any economy and cash flow during any market. Becoming a successful business owner and inside investor requires daily dedication towards understanding how to build and acquire a real asset. Is finance simple? This is particularly valid for the financial services sector. According to Visible Thread, a company that offers tools to analyze how well corporate websites communicate, 69 worldwide money managers' websites have some of the most confusing and technical content. They claim they got poor accessibility and readability, a jargon-laden result. According to a report by Visible Thread, long sentences constituted 25% of the examined written material, compared with a target level of 5% of clearly written content. Columnist for The Globe and Mail, Rob Carrick, claims that the financial business uses a lot of jargon and complex words to attract clients because, among other reasons, a power dynamic is also at play here. The investment sector benefits from maintaining its incomprehensibility by promoting the notion that it is the only entity capable of managing our money. And in reality, as we always say here in our community, keep it super simple. If it's too complicated, we should invest in it. If we don't understand it within the first 8 minutes, then we should invest in it. It's probably a bad deal. It's probably a bad investment. If we can explain it to a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, then we probably shouldn't do it. It's supposed to be simple. When it comes to numbers, the numbers and good deals, they work, and bad deals, they do not work. Let's crunch the number. Let's read the financial statement. Let's look at the tax returns. Let's take a look at all the paperwork. Let's analyze the investment and measure everything based on facts. A return on investment should be measured with facts. But financial experts and brokers and these people make all this crazy content that people have no idea when they read it, and so they end up even feel more helpless, and therefore it helps the brokers make more money, I suppose, because people feel that they need to give their money because they don't even understand what's going on. So they're like, okay, they give their money blindly to other people to invest it for them. But here at Master Investor, we're breaking away from that because we have financial education, and that's the key. Acquire true understanding of finance. We decided long ago to write financial books and articles as if they were written for young kids. We took this action in an effort to demystify financial education. Our goals is to make billions of people's financial life better, and as population grows, continue to serve the entire population of humanity to increase their financial IQ and elevate their financial well-being as a result. But we can't accomplish that by writing in an arcane manner about subjects that are actually very easy to understand. To make it appear as though our home, automobiles, and other possessions are actual assets, for example, accountants employ intricate models. However, at Master Investor, we employ a straightforward paradigm that makes sense in practice. A liability is something that takes money out of our income column, whereas an asset puts money in it on autopilot without us having to work. According to those criteria, a car and a house are liabilities, not assets, unless they are rentals that generate passive income, positive cash flow for our companies on a monthly basis, in which case they are assets. So if we look at the diagram on screen, we can see that we have a mortgage that is $80,000. Is it a liability? Is it good debt? Yes, it's good debt. Why? Because who's paying for that mortgage? the rental income is paying for the mortgage. You see it on the diagram. Where are we getting the income from? It says rental income. Our expenses, we have mortgage, real estate taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance. And in the balance sheet, we have, as an asset, we have the house because we're renting the house. If we were a person that lives in the house and do not rent it to anybody else, and we have to work hard to pay for the house, then that is a liability, it's not an asset. However, we can turn that liability into an asset by renting it out and by making it a business operation. And now we have a mortgage of $80,000, yes, but that is considered good debt. So that should be actually music to our ears, right? Because it's a debt that is getting paid on its own by the rental income of the property, and it's making us wealthy because every time we pay the bank, the mortgage payment, we're paying ourselves as well. Whatever is left over is our surplus. So a person who uses Airbnb to rent out a home and uses the money received to pay for living expenses has an asset. Alternatively, a car rental company that uses its rental revenue to pay for its vehicle owns assets in the form of cars. However, our personal residence and upkeep are only liabilities. We have to pay for them with our hard-earned money. If we have to work to pay for those expenses, then those are liabilities. If they're not making any positive cash flow or capital gains income into our pocket right now, we need to be able to touch that money in order for them to be an asset, okay? If it's not putting money, if we're not receiving currency from it, then it's not an asset. If we're not receiving that cash flow. Then the way the cash flow flows is what determines if something we acquire, it is an asset or liability. We said it many times before that we should always live above our means and not below to become wealthy. Yes, we must expand and do not shrink in order to build wealth successfully. Invest like the wealthy do. We make money from our cash flow and assets, not by working, selling time for money. Wealthy mindset. The 3% we can see on the diagram right here in front of us. We have the income column, we have the expenses, and our expenses, the number one expenses, acquire assets, and it's also financial education. So number one expense that we should have as a characteristic of a wealthy investor is to acquire assets and invest in financial education every day. So that should be number one expense. Before anybody gets paid, we should do that daily. And then number two, pay taxes, if any, because as we use in debt and we're building passive income, we can literally minimize taxes by documenting everything. We need to have the CPA, we need to have the business attorney in our team to help us create a tax strategy ahead of the year so that we know exactly where to allocate and how to allocate the revenue and surplus of our businesses so that we can minimize taxes and we can spend as much money as we wish and make as much money as we wish and keep as much money as we possibly can working for us from asset to a different asset, okay? It's not so much how much money we make, but how much money we keep out of the money we make so that we can continue make it work for us, okay? And then third thing we have here on the expenses is acquire liabilities. Since we have the ability to acquire an asset that produces cash flow, then we can acquire any liability that we want because we can always acquire assets that will pay the expense of any liability. A lot of people do this backwards. They acquire liabilities first, and that's why they end up always living in the rat race because they are consumed with bad debt and they have no assets and they have no time to invest in their financial education because now they have so many liabilities on top of them that they have to work extra hard to even keep up with those payments and keep up with their fake image of being rich or being wealthy. They're just not wealthy because they have no freedom, and money alone doesn't make us wealthy. It has to come with freedom. So our businesses buy other assets first and then pay taxes after, if any. Wealthy people buy or acquire assets first before tax dollars and pay zero in taxes in many occasions. Then we acquire liabilities by having the assets pay for the expenses of the liabilities. We can obtain everything for free. All is done legally using the tax code and corporate law and to our advantage. Mastering the new rules of money, we create an ebook on that, the 10 new rules of money. We have how to build cash flow with the internet, turn passive income on. and how to invest in crypto, understanding Bitcoin and blockchain. Make sure you go get the ebooks. We have them on Amazon, and also you can get them on Kindle. However, when you go to our website, you'll find additional assets because each ebook has turned into a vivid digital course, and we are adding more assets into each digital course. And whenever we decide to get in, at that point, anything after that we add into that digital course is for us to keep and have access at no additional cost. So it's a great investment to get in right now, because in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, the course itself is going to be worth a lot more because it's going to have additional assets. So imagine we get in right now, we will have all of those additional assets at no additional cost. And there will be exclusive interviews with wealthy entrepreneurs, celebrities, and anything that can help us understand more about the topic of the volume, we will add into that digital course, okay? So make sure you take advantage of this great investment and take action. We must expand our mindset, assets column, and any other column in our personal financial statement. Getting wealthy is not a game of saving money. Actually, it's the very opposite of saving money. The getting wealthy game is about mastering how to spend as much money as we can possibly handle into assets that produce cash flow. As we can see, we have the cash flow pattern of the wealthy class. We have positive cash flow that comes from passive income and capital gains income, assets that we control with our companies, and we see that we focus on the assets column and we're building that as much as possible. And of course, we're making sure that we're reinvesting that surplus back into our assets column. We need to expand as much as possible, okay? So expand the assets column. Focus on that as a priority column on our financial statement. Focus on building the assets column, okay? And then as we get businesses making us revenue and creating positive cash flow, we gotta make sure that that money, that surplus, is treated as an expense. It's treated as a good expense because it's going to be invested into a new asset. So ultimately, our businesses buy other businesses for us, and we get wealthy for free at the speed of light, literally. Now we have a clear understanding how to become a wealthy entrepreneur by acquiring the main characteristics we discussed here today. We have to adopt the context of the ultra wealthy mindset. Choose the type of income that we spend our time working for wisely. There are 3 types of income we can work for to build: earned income, capital gains income, and passive income. Earned income comes from a job, and it's the income people get when they sell their time for the money. Capital gains income and passive income comes from investing. Our rule number 1 in our community is that we work to build passive income and make money multiply through sound investing. We focus on investing for passive income because it is how to create true wealth with total freedom. A career of financial education. But something isn't always easy or simple just because it is straightforward. In actuality, simplifying something is more difficult. If we can actually see the companies today, that's what they try to do with their products. Apple, right? Every new phone that comes out is making it more simple than the previous one. So it is quite a challenge to make things simple. Therefore, even if it is easy to distinguish between an asset and a liability, it is not an easy task to dedicate our entire life to accumulating a portfolio of cash flow and assets that would generate that type of income, which is passive income and sometimes capital gains income. But it is easier today than ever before due to the access of information worldwide and technology we have. Being an expert at locating and obtaining fantastic assets is really time intensive, but it's also very enjoyable, as the reward is total freedom and excess of passive income. While it may seem easy, practice is still necessary. The best practice is to actually do the real thing. So we must take action now in order to start building our wealth. Master Investor promises to keep imparting this knowledge of high quality financial education to us in the most straightforward and understandable way possible. getting a true financial education and dedicating our life to learning should be our commitment. That is the real way to become wealthy. Invest in our financial education, get our ebooks, and find the mentors out there that are aligned with our financial goals. Invest in seminars, get out there and network. Make sure we're doing self-development daily, listening to podcasts like this, and ensuring that we're nurturing ourselves. Our financial IQ needs to be growing daily, and we need to see results. We need to experience what is it to launch a business. We need to learn about every single setback that we have. We need to be building a thick skin when it comes to building our wealth, and start investing in our relationships, okay? Our time is the most precious asset, together with our mind and our freedom. Those three things we do not jeopardize ever. We need to nurture them, we need to protect them, and we need to make sure that we are delegating as much as possible. We're using other people's talents as much as possible. Other people's money, the bank's money, using debt, right, legally to invest. We need to learn how to use every single tool that we all have available today, okay? Don't just be the one that wears all the hats. Maybe at the beginning we may have to wear all the hats, but doesn't mean that we cannot start delegating. We need to put people in place in our organization that will help us grow our companies to the next level, okay? Today we have systems more than ever, like I mentioned many times, and therefore with AI we can sometimes replace the task of a human being with an artificial intelligence together with a system. So now we have no excuses to why we shouldn't be building passive income and true wealth. We have the opportunity to join a community like this one, and we have many other mentors out there that are great for business. However, we are the authentic brand of money, business, and investing. We will keep it 100% with the ultra wealthy mindset. Everything that we do here is to give power back to the investor. Keep your money working in assets that we control, right? That you control personally with your companies. And so we need to launch our business. We need to learn how to protect our entities, how to protect the logo, and instill intrinsic value in our organizations. Plus, have business integrity, which means that the business must make a profit. And an inside investor, or the highest level of an investor, is an inside investor, is a master investor, or the ultimate investor, or also known as the capitalist. Okay, that's the highest level of an investor. I hope that you learned on today's talk. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you being here, bringing you the good and bad news of money, the business principles that work in all economies. We talked about the characteristics of a wealthy investor, and we must understand how to apply them in our lives and avoid mistakes that actually hinders our success. When we stop talking negative things into our minds, we start pulling in the positive things. So the way we manifest things faster, including finances, better finances, is by applying this one universal law, which is be our best friend, be nurturing to ourselves, self-love, talk to us in a great manner. We're already champions. We're born out of so many other sperms. We are already here on this earth as champions, so make sure that we always nurture our minds. If we make a mistake, don't call yourself a person that is incapable, right? A person that doesn't understand. In fact, we learn from our mistakes. So if we're failing, it's because we are attempting to do something. Now, if we fail and do it again and over again, and we're not learning from the mistakes, and that's insanity. But we need to make sure that we have the right team around us and that we talk to ourselves in a positive manner at all times. I know it can be difficult in negative situations that life can bring us, but remember that our negative situation in somebody else's life could be their best situation that they will ever see in their entire life. So don't take for granted our lives, what we have today. Be grateful and start thinking about businesses that can solve other people's problems. The more generous we become, the wealthier we are. So it's about being generous. It's about solving other people's problems. And it's about spotting opportunities where others do not see opportunities because they lack financial education. They're focusing on the negative. So when people are panicking about the economy, that's when we need to really pay attention, because there are great opportunities laying in front of us. And early trends, being able to position ourselves in front of early trends, right? Capitalizing on those early trends will make us very wealthy as well. So we need to be on our tippy toes, and we need to be doing self-development and, of course, writing things down and launching our businesses, getting them into the marketplace. And today we don't need much. A website is free. We can put the product live within 24 hours. We can have people making purchases within 24 hours, literally. So think of the brand, think of the logo. It needs to be catchy, and think of what problem are we going to solve next. It needs to be aligned with our passions. And let's do research. Let's write down a business plan with some actions that we need to take every day to get that into realization, okay? If you have any questions, please let us know. Write down your feedback. Stay extraordinary and wealthy. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.